My name is Christine Crudo Blackburn. I am in the College of Criminal Justice and the Department of Security Studies. I have an interdisciplinary PhD from Washington State University, and I study pandemics and other issues around health access.
I'm Kevin Christen. I'm in the College of Business Administration in the Department of General Business and Finance. I recently graduated with my PhD in communication from Michigan State University, and as such, I kind of teach, business communication in the college, had some experience there, and my research interests are mainly looking at actually entertainment and media, which is a little bit unusual given the college, but there's a lot of applications that can go into there, including classwork. So I'm excited to be at Sam Houston State.
So my name is Dr. Caroline Wobbeser. My students typically call me Dr. W, or now they've started calling me Dr. Dub, which is fun. I'm in the SHSU, so College for Humanities and Social Sciences, in the Communication Studies Department. And my main area of research is actually instructional communication. So I look at relationships in the classroom, so how teachers interact with students and how students interact with each other. To answer a little bit about where I'm from Missouri originally, so not too far from here. But I got my bachelor's in Missouri, then I moved to Texas State for 2 years for my master's program. So I lived in San Marcos, Texas for 2 years. Then I was in Ohio for 4 years after that. Then I was actually in Connecticut for 2 years before I came here. So this is my second tenure track job. I've been working here since May, and I've been here in Huntsville since July. So getting used to the area.
Well, I have several family members that are in academia, so I was very familiar with it, and I like the idea of research. I originally wanted to go into politics, actually, and then kind of changed that route. I got interested in research, the research I do now, because I was taking bioterrorism, and I was studying bioterrorism, and I thought it was missing an element of something that I thought was important, so I kind of changed my research route. It was literally like a class. I had one class where they said something, and I was like, it doesn't sound right. There's got to be more than that. There's got to be more to the conversation. So then I ended up in the veterinary school studying zoonotic diseases. I worked with cows for a year. Yeah, 4 a.m. walking calf hutches on dairy farms in central Washington. So yeah, it was just learning about diseases.
So it's actually pretty funny. I went to undergraduate at the University of Dayton, and all communication majors there. I wanted to be a broadcast journalist, so this is kind of comfortable for me. I kind of knew what I was getting into. I was very dead set on it, and after I turned in one of my term papers for a class that all the communication majors have to take, which is a theory class, both my instructors said something like, hey, you'd be good at this. You should consider, the way you write and think, you probably should consider grad school. I was like, no. And then one of those people became my master's thesis advisor when I re-enrolled about a year later and realized that, yes, this is something I wanted to do. She was great at research. It's something that I really love applying. I love understanding things about the world. I like the process. I like working with people who are interested at the undergraduate and graduate level, being really careful and enthusiastic and things like that. And certainly going to Michigan State too really helped to further that, and I'm looking forward to actually being able to do things without a little guidance now, which is great. So get out and see the world.
But it kind of started when I was an undergraduate. I had to take a research methods course for communication studies in my undergraduate in Missouri State University. And we did a study in that class. We actually did two studies. We did a qualitative and a quantitative study in that class. And that kind of got my foot into research, but then I didn't really want to know what I wanted to do after undergraduate. So one of my mentors at the time, Sean Wall, who was the department chair there, he said I should apply to graduate schools and actually told me to apply to Texas State. So then I went to Texas State and I got more into research there. I took an instructional communication course there, and that's how I got into instructional communication specifically, is through that course. And I actually kind of started a study in that course, which was my first published study later on. But it just showed me what research I could do and what I could look at in the classroom specifically, and just kind of how I can make a difference overall with my research.
I have two primary projects. So I do a lot of work on border health. And then I have a new project that I'm starting on cybersecurity and cyber attacks on hospitals and how that impacts patient outcomes and overall health outcomes if hospital emergency rooms are shut down or they can't take on patients or they lose patient records and that sort of thing. Other area that I'm looking at is the securitization of health and how our securitizing of health are looking at it as a security issue impacts people's access to health and actually how that can sometimes make us less safe or less healthy because we use it to put up obstacles to health access. Also, how the securitization of health impacts human rights.
My research interests are an intersection right now of entertainment research, so it's why we like what we like, and my work specifically looks at social influences on it. So I'm guessing that you've had those phenomena, right, where you like learn about a film because you saw good ratings or because your friends were talking about it. And a lot of the research that I've done recently kind of suggests that that affects your opinions in different ways, so I'm trying to figure that out. There's also some other implications related to it when you get into that social realm because, you know, there's issues of diversity that come in and can influence whether or not there's on-screen diversity based on, you know, who's communicating about, you know, what's a popular and good piece of media versus not. And then there's also a lot of research in entertainment too that says that, you know, we have a tendency to like certain people that exhibit certain behaviors, but a lot of people haven't looked at kind of that intersection with group. So there's also implications for, you know, maybe fostering more intergroup interaction or like opportunities to go out and discuss with people just based on exposure to different narratives, different, you know, indicators of popularity and reviews and things like that. So it's very baseline research right now, building foundational and things like that.
So right now I'm actually working on a project about teacher body image. So looking at how teachers feel about their bodies in the classroom and how that influences their teaching. And it kind of goes with a program of research I have that looks at mental health and emotions in the classroom. And I want to look at both teacher and student angles because I want to know more about how teachers feel emotions in the classroom and also how students feel emotions in the classroom because that is a huge impact on our learning. We often try to take emotions out of the classroom, but in reality, what we know is that emotions actually help both anger and happiness. They help students to learn more. So when we let them have their emotional experiences and push them to have those experiences, overall they learn more in the classroom. So that's kind of where my research looks, is how do emotions influence learning and how can we push students to learn more about their own emotions.
My biggest goal is I really want to change the paradigm of how we think about global health security and health security broadly, because I think that it will be more effective to look at access to preventative care, access to care, increasing people's ability to be healthy is going to have a bigger impact on health security and our overall well-being as a country and as a global community than kind of like putting up these walls and saying we need to protect ourselves from other people who have diseases. So really, like, I'd like to change the way we think about it and think about it in terms of expanding access to health rather than, securitizing health.
At a personal level, kind of the me-search element of it is that I'm just kind of a dork about, why I like what I like. So I just want to figure it out. And, I think that luckily enough, there's been tons of media research that talks about the news that we like, the stories that we like and why, and continues to be, which is great. But I think at a broader level, some of those social implications are also important, right? Because I think there's always this collective kind of defensiveness among people who do entertainment because they're like, what's the implication? But like, we spend 3 hours of our days, like at least 3 hours of our day watching just leisure TV and using screens for our own leisure. And there's tons of, and throughout history, I mean, those stories and those entertaining elements, even like the cave drawings, have an influence on things like our attitudes towards different things like health and morality issues and things like that. How we feel about people who are different from us and whether or not it's important to try to seek out or, stay within a group. And so those are kind of the things I'd like to explore in the future in terms of the impacts element of it.
So a lot of my research with emotions and mental health, I think I've already talked a little bit about the overall helping students learn, but I think from this instructor's perspective, I want to learn how we can help burnout. I don't think we can necessarily prevent burnout completely, but how we can help teachers when they get into those modes, and also how we can help teacher mental health, because if you have a stronger teacher who is more healthy mentally and is less burnt out, they're going to be a better teacher overall, and students are going to learn better. So one of the ways I want to take it is learning how to help teachers and give them tools to get through those tough moments that they have. So whether it's in a single class or they're just having an off semester, how can we help them to get through those moments and feel more confident about themselves and about their teaching?
Just that I'm really excited to be here. I love the community so far, and I am really interested in interdisciplinary work, so I'm interested in working with people from all across campus.
Well, I'm excited to be here. Thank you to people in the hiring process and in the college for being so wonderful in terms of making it an easy transition. So if you're watching this and you're like, hey, this seems interesting, seems like somebody to meet, love to talk to people even just about ideas, maybe do a collaboration, or even send me students if you find somebody who's like maybe graduate school or using audience research or market research is something that would be interesting. If you have that student, send them my way. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited, and thanks to everyone who's made it a great time so far.
I think everyone's been super friendly and welcoming so far, so I definitely say continue to do that. And I'd also say continue to reach out to people, even new people, because sometimes new people seem overwhelmed, but I think it's better if you reach out to them and say, hey, I like your research. Would you want to get involved in this? Or maybe in the future, would you want to do this? So I think just continuing those connections and reaching out to other people and encouraging those collaborations.